and go to the Flyte roadmap with Eduardo. Eduardo, so we basically had a last update about the Flyte roadmaps that was like about 2 months ago. So today we want to catch up and see, what's next. You 2 months ago talked a little bit about a forthcoming release, which was 1.2, and I think right now we're going to dive into this a little bit and give us a little bit more detail what's in 1.2 and potentially what's next. Stage is yours, Eduardo.
Amazing. Can we go to the next slide? So yeah, 1.2 went out yesterday. Here's some of the highlights. I think the biggest feature that's going out with this release is the support for array tasks. But there's other cool stuff also there. We already briefly touched on the DBT plugin, but there's another plugin that I'm very excited to see, being used, Hugging Face. And I'm calling out like 2 features that, I'm pretty sure will be also useful. One is the now you can name your executions with longer names. So you can have like the more descriptive names to, your workflow executions. Super amazing. And this third bullet point here, the Flyte workflow CRD being offloaded. This is basically a massive improvement in performance for a very large workflows that Flyte users will get for free. They will not have to do, they will not have to do anything. They don't have to enable any flag, any feature, anything. So please, if you see anything weird, let us know. But we're also very excited about this, especially for Flyte users have a very large workflows. They will see a 2, maybe 3x improvement in execution times.
That's
Martin
awesome.
already talked about this, but
Yeah.
we're slating the next release, the 1.3 release, to the end of the year. And I'm calling out like 2 features that will be out with this release. One is human in the loop tasks. It's a feature that have been requested for years at this point, and I think we finally reached a point where the ergonomics of actually exposing this to the SDK looks reasonable. So we're gonna go out with that. And also out of core plugins, another feature that people have been asking on and off. This will simplify the contributing to Black backend plugins, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. But 1.3, these are not the only features that we're gonna go out with 1.3, but I'm calling those 2 out because I do think that this will be another jump forward in terms of the Flyte ecosystem and like the power of expressing workflows and pipelines with Flyte.
That's fantastic. So I was just wondering, 2 questions that I have for Flyte 1.2 for the upgrade process and for people moving. Is there anything that people should be worried or concerned about when they go from an older version, or is it just smooth sailing?
It should be smooth sailing for the majority of the users, but the ones that have auth turned on, but they use the built-in OAuth server that we ship with Flyte. So, but even in that case, we have instructions on how.
I think that's the most important statement. You have instructions on how to upgrade.
Yeah.
So you just cut out for a second.
I can comment on that.
Yeah.
So essentially, there was a default config that we had within the authorization server that natively ships within Flyte. And we noticed that some users were using the default config, which is not the best way to secure your system. So we are now mandating that people essentially override the config. And this is for your security. Within the Flyte community, we deeply care about security, and going forward, that would be a requirement. If you're using OAuth 2, especially with the IDP like Google, which does not ship with the native authorization server.
Awesome. Okay, great, fantastic. That's important information. Good to know. And then for 1.3, I think this is cool. Also having the quarterly planning meeting, having the first Flyte quarterly planning meeting. Is obviously it says first, so it implies that more. So can you tell us a little bit about who should join there and you know what the nature of this quarterly planning meeting is for people who you think should be in there?
Eduardo, are you able to chip in? If not, okay, I'll fill in for him.
Okay.
So essentially, we did one planning meeting yesterday, but we have decided to do open planning meetings for Flyte. So if you are already contributing to Flyte, using Flyte, and I know there are a lot of them out there today, this is definitely a chance to come in and influence the core team, which is working on Flyte, including folks from Union, and make your requests be top of the line for us. And the other thing is like we will be sharing about what we have achieved, where we could do better, and how we can, and what are the next things that we're going to ship. We are, from a point of view of the core team, we are actually entering into a very, for the next month is more of a polish cycle, essentially polishing the documentation, cleaning up the experiences, and getting started. And soon follow up on that is going to be a mega execution cycle. And the reason is because we've been working a lot on getting a lot of our ducks in the same row, metaphorically, to execute much faster. So stay tuned. I think it's going to be an amazing end of the year as well as Q1 next year. And if you want your things to be added, join in. If you want to pitch, you want to help and help organize the planning meeting, please join in. It will really help us.
So how can people join in at this point after you had the first meeting? What's the next? How do people join you in the moving forward right now? Is there a Slack channel or how do they contribute?
I think definitely there is no Slack channel. Maybe we should add one, Samita, if you think that's right. But even if there is no Slack channel, definitely ask in the community. But there is a meeting link shared somewhere, and this is where Eduardo would have been better than me. But there is a meeting link as a calendar invite, add event rather, that you can add to your event. It should remind you every 2 months or month to join in.
Okay, great.